Hello, my name is Harrison Olvera, and welcome to my final presentation. I just want to thank everyone for coming, and first of all, I just want to introduce you to my mentor, Mr. Gona, who's sitting right there. Thank you, Mr. Gona, for coming here and being able to teach me and go through all the wonderful experiences with me. So, first of all, I just want to ask everyone, what is graphic design? Can anyone give me any answer or anything like that?
Okay. Is it designs on computers? Is that right?
Yes, that's actually pretty close. And so basically what Alex was saying, that is pretty much just designing on computers, like any other graphic that you create, whether it be like painting or such. Graphic design would be painting on the computer. The two main programs that you would need for this is Photoshop and Illustrator. I normally do not use Illustrator, I use Photoshop, but Photoshop is used for things such as just painting in general. It goes through the general things of creating graphics, and then Illustrator would be going and creating things such as vectors or patterns that you could put on designs. And then my second factor for graphic design would be ideas and viewpoints. These are put within the design so that an audience may be able to see these and just be able to view them and understand them. So a lot of these ideas come directly from the person or the graphic designer, and basically it's just used so that the audience may be able to see the ideas and viewpoints of the graphic designer. And then that leads me to my third point, the audience. This is probably the most important out of all the factors in graphic design, just because graphic design is meant for showing your ideas and viewpoints to an audience. You want them to be able to understand, and you just want them to be able to realize all these ideas and viewpoints that you want inside of the world, honestly. Because graphic designers want to portray their ideas and viewpoints towards a certain audience, and not all audiences view the same way that the graphic designer may want them to view it as. And then for my fourth point, creativity. Creativity is a huge factor in graphic design, and you definitely need it as a huge imagination part, and just be able to understand what color goes with what pattern goes with what, and so on and so forth, just so that you could have that constant, like, a theme that you want to create, so that your ideas and viewpoints are portrayed thoroughly towards an audience. And then for my two quotes, I have by Theodore Roth. He said, "What we need is more people to specialize in the impossible." And I feel like that is by far one of the most important aspects that I feel that needs to be portrayed in our world, because I feel that if we have this type of outlook on everything that we do, then our whole society will be transformed into a way that we might influence others and be able to portray like a positive effect onto the audience, so that we may be able to help improve other skills and ideas, and I feel like that's what we need in the world. And then my mission statement is to provide viewers with their greatest desires when looking for the perfect image. I plan to strive towards the best by providing quality, mood, and popularity to every graphic design. And so this is kind of my second main point that I am also trying to instill in the work that I'm doing. So more about ISM, why I took ISM. Basically, the 3 main points I want to go over is to improve skills, access connections, and I also want to go over the difference between agency and freelancing. So, improving skills is the first main point that I crossed over when I came through graphic design in ISM, and my sister was recently taking ISM the previous year, and she was telling me a lot of positive points about it, and I felt that if she's able to achieve all these skills and all of this improvement that could affect her future positively, then I could do that too. So that was the main point why I took ISM. And then the second main point would be to access connections. During the time when my sister was in ISM, she started getting more connections, more college college requests to visit their college, and I felt that if I was to join ISM, I might be able to achieve that point to where people might see me and be like, this guy has potential, and this is, more of what we need. And I felt that also in graphic design, connections are definitely one of the more important parts, because I want to go into freelancing, and freelancing requires connections, and I felt that if I have the connections needed, then I'll be able to get enough jobs so that I might be able to go further and be able to portray more graphics and designs in the world. And agency and freelancing, this point kind of goes on to my interviews, and so I kind of just want to go over that. Agencies, there's two types of agencies. There's agencies that just in general just go over jobs as a whole as a company, and then another agency is a freelancing agency, and then these agencies get freelance graphic designers, and they help them find simple, easy jobs that they might be able to do, and then that ends up being one of the most productive and efficient ways of freelancing. And then freelancing is just working by yourself, which is what I'm planning on doing, and this is why getting the connections that you need is important for you to have, so that you might be able to find enough jobs and be able to use that to your advantage. And then so I definitely found these in my interviews. I found multiple people to interview in agencies. Most of them were honestly freelancing agencies, although there were a few freelancing by themselves, and but if I recall correctly, there was no, or maybe actually there was one agency, and so this kind of portrayed a difference that to me and what I might want to do, because at this point I wasn't exactly sure yet whether I wanted to go into freelancing or whether I wanted to go into an agency. And I feel right now that joining a freelancing agency would probably be the best choice for me, so that I might get a head start and be able to establish the connections that I need, and then go into freelancing and then move on from there and creating my own business and such. And the second point in my interviews is customer service. This was one of the main points that I had pointed out to the people I was interviewing, and the questions I would ask them is things such as, how do you feel customer service is to you? How important is it? How important is a customer? And why should you treat them so importantly? And to freelancers, this was definitely a difficult yet important topic to discuss, because not all customers are as accepting as others, and it's difficult to understand what they're going through and how their mind thinks. And so it's important to be able to understand them, and so that you might be able to grasp what they want in their graphic design that they want you to create. So next is some more about ISM. The assessments, we do these every Friday during the first semester and part of the second semester. And these assessments went over articles, and this definitely helped me also go into the online world and be able to understand how a more diverse ideas and knowledge were portrayed. And then blogs, this helped. This was just basically every Monday we would do a blog over the past week in ISM, and this would allow me to portray ideas and such to my audience and be able to show what I've been doing. And then the business symposium, this was probably by far one of the most extra parts of ISM that I enjoyed the most, because it helped me be able to interview people more efficiently, and I was more confident when I was interviewing people. And what we did was we would go into certain groups, and there would be professional business people, and we would go up to them, ask them questions, basic questions about how their job was, what they enjoy about doing the job, what they don't enjoy about doing the job, and kind of asking them for advice. And they would definitely give that advice to you, and it helps a lot. And about showing ideas and portraying more knowledge about the business world. And then my fourth point would be the UNT visit. During this time, we went to 2 classes, or I went to 2 classes. Some may have gone less, or some may have gone more because of the timing of the classes. But I went to 2 of the classes, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. And it portrayed kind of an image of how college would be in the future for me. And then my original work, Designed by Humans, this was the website that I used to get off ideas and such. And I had recently been introduced to this website just by searching the web, and I came across it, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then I started doing more research on it, and I realized that you could become an artist and create the t-shirts that I find interesting. And so I was like, wow, this would be amazing. And so I did some more research on it, and I knew that was what I wanted to do for my original work. So I created a couple designs, and so then I could put it on the Designed by Humans. And it took a lot of time and effort, and I went on YouTube. That was one of the main accesses access points that I use to find ideas for creating the t-shirts. And then the difficult part was probably finding ideas that weren't taken. I had created some of the designs, and then I sooner or later I was looking through Designed by Humans, and I was going through some of the designs, and I realized, wow, wait, isn't that one of the designs I created? And so I realized that I couldn't do that anymore because it wasn't original, and because I wanted to create something new, something that came out of my own mind. And so that leads me to my fun part, and just finding the new ideas and for my designs and such led me to grow a greater minds of creativity and imagination, so that I might be able to create the designs that are needed. So kind of going over some of the designs I created. This was one of the designs. I started off making a bunch of triangles, and then sooner or later it just ended up like that because it didn't take me a whole lot of time, but it definitely did take some creativity, and just putting that galaxy background on the back of it definitely brings out all of the symmetry and triangles and all the geometric shapes that were filled in the design. And then this was one that I created at my on Cinema 4D, which is another program that I used, and this allowed me to create 3D objects. And so I created the 3D object, and then I went on Photoshop and then changed the background just to bring out it. And one of my friends, he told me that it looks like a gusher, one of those fruit snacks that you eat, and so I thought that was kind of interesting. I was kind of going for an abstract look, not one that looked squishy and edible. And then the next one, I created a lot of different designs of these. It said, if you can't read it, it says "We are free," and I kind of wanted to go with certain words that portrayed who I am, and so I went with 3 words: "We are free," and so I went with a black and white galaxy background, and I brought out the words using a different color, so then I could just be able to make the words pop out and just kind of show the audience that that was the idea that I wanted to portray. And then so that was another that I created. What I did was it's the same background as that, but what I did was I inversed it, so it brought out different colors, which is why it looks more white than it does black on compared to the other one. And then again I changed the color of the words just to bring out the idea. And then I kept that was another one that I created. I just kept the same color as I did in the first one, and I kept the slash down the middle, and then I kept also the black and white galaxy background in there as well. And then this was by far one of the favorite ones out of the people that I showed this to, and it kind of just shows how how I pretty much used the different brushes and all just to show like it was kind of like a hole, and kind of like what needs to be filled is the freedom. And then so the next design that I created was a abstract one as well, and if you can't tell already, I really enjoy triangles, and this was definitely one of the ones where I showed that I love triangles. And so I pretty much just took the mountain, and then I took the triangle, and then I put it to where the triangle was the one that was focused in, because the background of the mountain looks blurred, so it's meant like that. And then my next design, I made this a while back ago actually, and it was from one of the bands I listen to a lot. It's called Of Mice and Men, and if you can't read all the text because the size of it, but it says, "Don't let the world bring you down. There's always hope for the willing. Don't let the world bring you down. It's not over. You're not alone anymore." And those words kind of stood out to me, and so I decided to use that and put it in front of a picture that I found on the internet. And then this is where it goes back to what I was talking about, that I couldn't use some of them because of the keep calm. The symbols up there are from a card game known as Magic: The Gathering, and some of them, not all of them though, the symbols I couldn't use because I found later on Designed by Humans that they're already being used, and so I couldn't use that. And this was definitely one of the main designs that I wanted to be portrayed in the Designed by Humans and the audience. And then my next design, I don't know if any of you have heard, but there's a band called Pink Floyd, and although it's not exactly like a prism should be, but I kind of wanted to go off of a hipster look to it. I got some triangles, some shapes, and then I put them together and kind of made it look like it had some noise to it, and then the rainbow gradient as well, just to make it look more hipster. And then this one I made as well a while back ago. I got this off of a tutorial on YouTube actually, and there again is the triangle if you can't see it, but it's an upside down triangle right in the middle. It's black and white, and then I took what's known as bokeh, and which is pretty much just bright lights that are in the shape of like circles and stuff like that, and then I put it into an overlay that had the triangle shapes and polygons that you could see there. And then I put the word Shadow Productions on there because that's what I want my company to be named in the future. And then that picture is a picture of Pikachu and from Pokemon, and I made him pixelated. So I took an image from the internet, and then I made it pixelated, and then I put in a shadow background or a shadow beneath it, so then so it could kind of stand out more. This honestly did take a while. It was before I knew that there was an actual pixelate tool, so it did take me a while, and I believe it is by a 1:1 scale of pixels. And then this was one of my first designs I've ever created on Photoshop, and I also got this off of a YouTube tutorial. It's a picture of Zed. If you don't know him, he's a DJ artist that makes a lot of the pop music that we listen to. And so there again is the triangles, and I wanted it to be more like fixated and to put more what's known as photo manipulation, which is what you see. It looks like he's kind of coming apart in a way, and I definitely love this whole lot. And then this leads me to my mentor selection. Why I chose Mr. Argona as my mentor was because he was he was definitely my favorite out of all the people I interviewed, just because he showed the experience that I wanted, and this was exactly what I needed to hone my skills and be able to improve them and excel in graphic design. And definitely the highlights of with my mentor were the meetings behind the final project, before the final project, and this was these meetings was where I would take the progress that I had gotten on my final project, and I'd take it to him and be like, Mr. Grona, this is what I need to get fixed. Can you tell me how to fix it? And he would help me, and it definitely, like, I probably would not have finished my final project if it wasn't for these meetings. And then this leads me to my final project. So my final project is a I wanted to focus more on the audience and be able to be to portray my ideas to them, and so I wanted to go with something that I would focus on a smaller audience, which I was thinking would maybe be the restaurants at Frisco Square. And so my ideas were to create a map so that I might be able to show where restaurants are and such, and then I put them in the restaurants next to a door right when they enter in, and then I'd be able to show them all these different designs and themes that I created, and then also the second design I was going to create, or I am going to create, is a photo. I'm going to get a photo, and it's going to be black and white, and so that I might be able to show exactly what is needed